welcome to this video. I'm Obasa from The Lucrative Lady, and today I'm going to answer a really important question for how to increase your engagement on Facebook. And that question is all about, should you run engagement ads? Should you boost your post or anything like that? I want to just give you, two sides to the coin response to this, and then in a separate video I'm going to show you exactly how to run this ad. I should let you know that this video is a series for how to increase your engagement on Facebook. Now, I've already recorded the first video in the series, so make sure you check that out once you finish watching this, and that is all about how to increase your engagement on Facebook, where I shared 10 strategies, really powerful strategies that I use that really helps you to do that. Now, this is video 2 in the series, all about answering this question about should you run engagement ads. And then of course in video number 3 I'm actually going to be showing you how to run engagement ads and how to do it for a very small amount of money, but it's really powerful for your business. Now, if it is your first time coming to my channel, then hello and welcome. I'm Obasa, the founder of The Lucrative Lady. And if you love this, show me that you love it by sticking around. And you do that by subscribing to this channel, and that would help me mightily and will of course show more people this video when you hit the likes. So please make sure you do that. Now, first of all, before I even jump in, this is a Q&A type of video where I'm going to be answering a ton of questions. Questions such as, what is an engagement campaign? Should you run an engagement campaign? What budget should you use for an engagement campaign? How long should you run an engagement campaign for? And lastly, I'm going to be talking about what types of businesses should run an engagement campaign. I want to answer all of these before I even dive in to teach you how to do this. So first of all, what is an engagement campaign? When I first started using Facebook, which is the biggest platform, the biggest social media platform, I didn't used to run any type of engagement campaigns. I'd run my ads and I would run conversions campaigns, and sometimes I'd dabble into traffic or reach campaigns. But I started to use an engagement campaign for a specific reason, and that is to gather social proof. So how does it work? Let's say you're going to run an ad on Facebook. You're most likely going to want to use a conversions campaign because you're looking for a conversion. What is a conversion? Conversion is an action, i.e. it's a sale, so you're looking for buyers, or it's for somebody to opt in for something or register for something, but you need them to do something. So the majority of people would use a conversions campaign. However, because we know that Facebook is a bit of a crowded marketplace, it's powerful, but it is crowded, there is one thing that really helps you to boost the conversions and to bring down your cost, and that is what's known as social proof. So what is social proof? Social proof is where there are lots of people showing that they like your ad. So you'll notice social proof when you see comments, lots of comments under an ad, or lots of shares under an ad. So looking at the campaign that you see in front of you, this is an ad and it has over 400 comments and lots of shares equally. That is social proof. Now what happens is that when somebody else sees that, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to notice the social proof, and that then says, oh, this must be good. So therefore the chances of them actually converting becomes much higher. So that is what social proof is. Now, what does that have to do with an engagement campaign? Now, one of the ways to boost that social proof at the beginning of running any type of campaign is to use an engagement campaign. So the engagement campaign has one job and one job only to do, and that is to increase engagement. Now, the thing about Facebook is that it's such a powerful platform that it knows who is most likely to convert and who is most likely to just engage. So there are people out there who, you know, that what they do the most on Facebook is engage. So that means they would click, they'd comment, they would share, they would like, they might not buy, but they will engage. Now you might think, Pam, do I really need those types of people if I'm trying to sell something? Yes, you do, because they give you social proof, and social proof is its own currency. So it's very important that we have social proof. So to finalize on this point of what is an engagement campaign is a campaign that you run in order to gather social proof so that you can then use the same ad with all of that social proof in your conversions campaign. So basically, you're using a hack to boost your social proof so that you can then boost your conversions. That is an engagement campaign. So the second question that I always get is, Pam, should I run an engagement campaign? And the answer is yes, you should, but it also depends on your budget. Now, here is why. If you have a really, really big budget for your campaign, let's say you have, you're spending around 3K per month or 5K per month and above, right? That is a decent sized budget. It's not a big budget, but it's decent, right? You're not necessarily a beginner, in which case you can say to me, Pam, can I just go straight for the conversions campaign? And yes, you could, because conversions campaigns will also bring that social proof with it. But I always say, and this is what I do, and I try to preach what I practice, and that is that even if I am and I really want to just run a conversions campaign, I make sure that in tandem with that conversions campaign, I also have an engagement campaign running at the same time, because why not? I would rather take a small slice of my budget, run it as for engagement to boost that social proof, because I know that when that social proof comes in, it's going to boost the conversions, and the goal is conversion. So should you run an engagement campaign? 100%. Of course you should. Now, what are the downsides? What are the reasons why you might not want to run an engagement campaign? Well, to be honest, there are really no downsides, but I guess if you have a really tiny budget, if you said to me, Pam, I have like, $1,000 or £1,000 to run out, or even less than that, then it's really small. To be honest with you, I'd probably say, let's talk a little bit more about this, because you need to spend your money the right way. But the truth of the matter is, if you have a tiny budget, you might not see the need for social proof. And also, you can get social proof organically. There are ways of doing that. So I'd probably not advise you to do an engagement campaign if your budget is that small, but I would instead advise you on how to get that social proof organically without paying for it. But if you have a slightly bigger budget, you don't have the time to do the organic stuff, then you got to run an engagement campaign. That will always be my recommendation. So that leads me to the next question that I often get asked, and that is about budget. Pam, so what budget, if I am running an engagement campaign, what budget can I use? To be honest, this is why I love an engagement campaign. You can literally use the most minimum of budgets and it will still build the engagement for you. So that means you can start at just $5 per day, for real. Like, no kidding, and just run it for as long as you want. Now, personally, as I like to preach what I practice, I personally run an engagement campaign for just a few days, just to boost the beginning of my ad. I don't keep my engagement campaign running for weeks or even days. I kind of leave it running for maybe 3 days or 4 days, as long as, I've got some, decent sized social proof. And perhaps if it's a sales campaign that I'm running, so conversions objective, then, once the sales starts coming through, I turn off the engagement campaign, because now I want to put all of my budget into the conversions, because the social proof has now been gathered, and therefore the conversions campaign will keep building that social proof and of course generating those conversions. So in terms of budget, you can start at just $5 per day and it can just stay there for just a few days and you turn it off. So you're not really losing anything. What you're doing, in fact, is buying data, which is social proof, and that is priceless. And my next question is, Pam, how long should I run an engagement campaign for? I've sort of answered this already, but just to reiterate, I just run it for a few days, honestly, like 3 days, 4 days, and I'm done. Because what I do is I don't run it separately to a conversions campaign. I run them at the same time. So I set them up at the same time, and this helps me to sort of use both of them to build the engagement. But of course, the engagement campaign is going to do the heavy lifting, while the conversions campaign is going to focus on conversions. So therefore, I don't really need to run the engagement campaign for anything longer than 3 or 4 days, and it is off. So I don't leave it running for very long. That leads me to the final question, which is, Pam, what type of businesses should run an engagement campaign? Well, in all honesty, I think every business should run an engagement campaign, but for some types of businesses, it's more important than others. Now, if you are in an industry where there's a lot of skepticism, a lot of competition, but mostly skepticism, i.e. you need to, explain what you do. There's a lot of people who have something negative to say, etc. Then yes, you definitely want to have an engagement campaign running. So if you're in the coaching space, which I am, for example, you want to make sure that you have an engagement campaign running. If you're in a service business, yes, you want to make sure you have an engagement campaign running, because there's a lot of skepticism in these industries and people really value social proof. However, if you're in something like e-commerce, then the product does the speaking for you. Yes, social proof does help, and so an engagement campaign, will help. Of course it will, but it's not the be all and end all. And if you really don't want to do it, if you're in e-commerce, then you don't have to. But if you're in coaching, if you're in service, if you're in any of those types of industries that has a lot of, skepticism behind it, or a lot of competition behind it, etc., then yes, I highly recommend that you run an engagement campaign, because it's going to help you massively. Thank you for watching. I hope that you have learned how to create an engagement campaign. And if not, you've made a decision for, when and how to create an engagement campaign. I want to invite you to take a look at this playlist, which is all about Facebook marketing. It's the best stuff out there that is truly going to help you to be successful using Facebook. Make sure you check out that playlist. I also want to invite you to join me inside of my Facebook community, where I go live pretty regularly and I teach all sorts of things related to marketing. I keep you abreast of all of the changes, with algorithms and any changes on these platforms, and most importantly, how to use them successfully. I will be linking out to the group right below this video. So before you go, make sure you've subscribed, given me the thumbs up and all of that good stuff. And of course, comment. How do you feel about running an engagement campaign? Is it your thing? Is it not your thing? Is it something you're going to now be doing? Go ahead and do that. And of course, don't forget to check out this playlist all about Facebook marketing. And I'll see you in my next video.